When was the last time that you went online, you went into a room, you went to work, you were at school, at college, at university, went to an interview, looked around the room nervously, and started hearing words in your head that went, they're better than me. I couldn't possibly get this job. I'm not good enough. Nobody's going to look at my content because I'm not as popular as they are. No, my business isn't going to succeed because, well, I'm not really a proper business owner. I'm just a virtual assistant, a coach, a language teacher. I'm not good enough. And what happens afterwards? How do you respond to those thoughts? What actions do you take as a result of those thoughts? Do you find yourself running from the hills, pressing the delete button, walking out the door before your name gets called? Or do you question those thoughts? Do you say, bring it on? Do you say, nah, I'm enough. I can get this job done right now and I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to get on stage and smash this. What do you do? Well, let's explore it in today's Expresso shot of confidence. Let's get into it right now. Greetings and salutations wherever you are, and welcome back to an Expresso shot of confidence. It's been a while, hasn't it? Wow. What's been happening since the summer? I've missed you guys, but we're back now, or at least for the next few weeks we are, as we're going to talk about issues that affect us on a psychological level. And over the coming weeks, we're going to also, because it's Movember, look at mental health challenges that are facing males around the world right now and how it's a massive pandemic. But regardless of your gender, regardless of where you are in the world, there is one thing that affects us all from time to time, and that is the concept of not being good enough. We've all had it. It doesn't matter how successful you are. It doesn't matter if you're a celebrity. It doesn't matter if you have millions in your bank account. At some point, and maybe right now, you may be thinking, I'm not good enough. This is going to fail. I can't get this job done. And that good enough narrative, that feeling not good enough, can contaminate everything from your relationships to the actions you take, to starting a business, to growing your career, to starting hobbies. It can infect and contaminate every aspect of your life and make you feel bloody miserable if you let it. Now, I know those words, when I say if you let it contaminate, may sound like, well, easy for you to say. Well, there's nothing easy about it. Because in a lot of cases, you're conditioned. Maybe even conditioned from the day that you were born, maybe even before that, to believe that you were not good enough. This could be a societal issue where when you were younger, you were constantly told your English, your maths wasn't good enough. You had to try harder. You were never going to amount to anything. If you hear this enough times, it becomes lodged in your psyche and it becomes your truth. And that's how you're going to start approaching other actions. You're going to believe that, well, I can't do that sport. I can't travel solo. I can't start a business. I can't go for that promotion, because those echoes from the past are going to be pushing you and saying, who the hell do you think you are? You're not good enough for that. You're going to fail. Why even bother? And you start scrolling on Netflix instead. So let's address this. Let's get rid of this, because you are good enough. You are enough. You have skills, knowledge, experience, personality, humor, quirks that can brighten someone else's day, that can make the world a better place. But right now, you don't believe that, because you're hyperfixated on all the things that could go wrong, all the things that you are not. In many cases, and I know I've been guilty of this, you're probably comparing yourself to people that are much more successful, or at least on paper, or your perception says they are, than you. Much more skilled than you. Much more younger, older, wiser, thinner, fatter, taller, has more friends than you. The first thing I'll get you to focus on right now are those comparisons even remotely fair to you? A lot of the time, we compare ourselves to people that maybe are many, many miles down the line in terms of their experience and skill set. Take showing up on social media, for example. You're marketing your business, you're new to it. You've never done any of this stuff before. You ain't got the first idea about marketing, but you do it anyway. You've had that courage to show up. You know that it makes sense to be there. So you show up, you post something. Hardly anybody sees it. And then as you're scrolling through your feed, you're like, why has this content got loads and loads and loads of likes? They're effectively saying the same thing as me. But let's just take a step back. Let's get some distance here. Why has that person got more likes than you? They're more established. They've been doing this for much longer than you. They're also a trained and highly skilled marketeer, part of a network. They may even be part of a engagement pod. They have advantages that right now, through your inexperience, you do not have. But you are still comparing yourself as if you're on a level playing field, which you are simply not. Now, with that distance, we can see, okay, right, so that person's got more experience. Okay, so how can I get more experience? What opportunities can I find to develop my skills in this area? What do I need to learn? Or do I even want to bloody learn it? Okay, so how can I get the money to pay for someone who is highly skilled to do it for me? With distance, we can see things. But when we're in the trenches, when we take things personally, we cannot see. We immediately, and I know I have been totally guilty of this, take it personally. People don't like me. My content's not good enough. This isn't going to work. And this comes from one day. Now, immediately when you do that, you prime your brain, you prime your mind to look for evidence that it's not going to work. And by God, it's not hard to find it, because you will be hyper vigilant. You will hyper fixate on it and you will spot it. Oh, well, look at this other person. They're really successful. Look at this person. They're really successful. Look at this person. They're really successful. Instead of focusing on your journey, focusing on the things that can make the difference for you, the things that power you forwards. Because again, remember, you're at a different stage of your journey. So if you're going to compare yourself to anyone, compare yourself to who you were yesterday. What progress have you made? Have you initiated a conversation with someone you didn't know before? Have you learned something? Have you made a mistake and gone, you know what? That's not for me. Have you learned that you don't want to do something because you just think, nah, that's totally not my vibe. That is not my jam. I'm not doing it. This is a learning experience, right? And from that, you can build up confidence in yourself, in your skills, and trust yourself. Trust yourself to do what you need to do, to trust yourself to get the job done. And from that, you can focus on what is possible. Now, one of the biggest drivers of this not good enough narrative is usually low self-worth, low self-esteem. And as somebody that has suffered from this for a very long time, I get it. It can really make you feel scared, worried about all the things that can go wrong. And maybe in the past they did. Maybe you had bad experiences, things that didn't go well, messages you kept on hearing about the fact you're not good enough. This can make you feel insecure, can make you feel very vulnerable. It can make situations like networking, interviews, public speaking, posting content and marketing online to promote your business, it can make that situation feel massively loaded. And a lot of the time, that can get too much and create too much pressure that you don't do it. You don't take the actions that you need to take to get you to wherever you need to go. I've been guilty of that. I haven't sent messages. I haven't put things out online. I haven't put myself forward for speaking engagements because it all felt too scary. But what changed for me came to ultimately be, well, what can I do about it? What do I actually want to have happen here? What happens if I don't show up? What happens then? And that was a big turning point for me because I realized that by not showing up, I stayed hidden. I stayed small. I stayed feeling not great about myself. It was a vicious feedback loop. So I went about collecting evidence for an alternative. I asked myself, well, what happens if I do show up? What happens if my content is good enough that people like it? What happens if I do get invited to a speaking engagement and people enjoy what I had to say? What impact is possible there? And it still felt scary, but it gave me something that wasn't there when I was stuck in fear. It tapped into curiosity. Curiosity, creativity, and playfulness. Curiosity for what could happen. Excitement, which drove my creativity. And playfulness to go, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just add a bit of personality to this. What's the worst that could happen? People don't like it. Will that be the end of the world? No. Will the world explode if I post a video on social media and only 2 people like it? No. What is possible if those 2 people like it? Impact. Potential opportunities for collaboration. Potentially a client. But I knew that by showing up, I wasn't having to rely on people being mind readers. And that change in narrative started helping me to collect evidence of what happened when I actually did show up. Because I started seeing, okay, people resonate with my words. People like being in my presence. I'm actually quite good at public speaking. Now, even if I don't believe this initially, I was hearing a lot of positive feedback. This encouraged me to do it more. Now, this isn't about just like whistling, tooting your own horn. It's also good to get constructive feedback as well, ways you can improve. But that, again, taps into your curiosity, your creativity, and your playfulness, because that creates opportunity, a way to grow, a way to expand, a way to learn. And the more you do things, the more that those messages of insecurity that bounce around your head, they get weakened. They're not as strong. They physically can't be, because there's no evidence, recent evidence, up-to-date evidence that what they're telling you is true. Because you had a room of 10 people, 5 people, 100 people telling you, wow, that was amazing. Thank you. You've got 20 people online all over the world saying, wow, that's just provided with me amazing food for thought. Oh, you're so good at that. You've got clients, you've got customers, students, colleagues that are giving you feedback about the things that you are actually bloody good at. So pay attention to these facts, because they're highlighting your strengths. These are highlighting the real world results that you are getting. Then broadcast them out there. Celebrate them. It's not arrogant to be bloody good at something. It's not arrogant to celebrate your successes. Celebrate them. Really, celebrate them. In my career working with students, I absolutely love it. Love it when I see my students get results. And you're damn right. I want to feel good about that. They've done the hard work. They'll maybe, there's a human condition. A lot of them will go, well, it's because of you. Well, I gave you the tools. I provided insights, feedback, but you were the one that took that. You were the one that took that knowledge and applied it and grew. But when people say to me, ultimately, you're good at what you do, I believe that, because I know I am. I have the results to show that. That bit that I said there when I was going, no, the result is down to you, that isn't in any way, shape, or form diminishing the impact that I had. I was able to, and this is where the strength lies, I was able to create an environment which they could thrive in, where they felt comfortable, where they felt willing to push themselves, to dance outside of their comfort zones. That's my strength. And I'm going to honor that. And the more that I do that, the more that I work with people, the more evidence I've got when the mind monkeys pipe up and tell me you ain't good enough. Why are you even trying? Look at these testimonials. Look at these results. Look at these lives that are impacted. And you know that. You know that you impact people in whatever way it is, be that in your family, your friends, your work, whatever level means something to you. And this is important. What means something to you, not what someone online is telling you is important. What is important for you? How do you have impact in that area? Look around. There's an absolute shitload of evidence that you have impact, that you make a positive impact on people, that you do things that people appreciate. Honor that. Celebrate that. Focus on those things. We all have strengths. All of us have strengths. All of us have skills. All of us have knowledge that somebody else could benefit from. But a lot of the time, we're just too afraid to put our head above the parapet and go, look, I'm really good at what I do and I'm here. Who needs that support? There's just too much fear. So look at the evidence. Look at the evidence that you are good at what you do, because you are good enough. Just because some kid when you were 5 said that you're fat and ugly doesn't mean that you are now. Look at the people around you that love you. Look at the people that accept you with all your glorious quirks. You're awesome. Just because somebody laughed at you when you did public speaking when you were a teenager, don't let that impact the fact that right now, when you walk into a room, people pay attention. People listen. They're drawn to you. They love what you have to say. That is the evidence that it is relevant to you now. That is the important thing. Focus on now, the people in the room now. And how can you impact them like you did that people that you were in the room with last week that absolutely loved your speaking, that loved your presentation, that loved what you had to say. Keep moving forwards and focus on what do you want to have happen. And let all of these experiences build up your self-esteem, build up your trust in yourself, build up you. And as you go through that process, you're going to build up other people. As you shine that light inwards, you're going to shine a light outwards, and things just become. And then think about all the infinite possibilities that are possible then. It's an awesome thought, right? So on that note, we're going to move in to today's Expresso shot of confidence, and I'm going to quote Brené Brown. I love Brené Brown. I love the work that she's done over the years. Coming across her work was eye-opening in terms of my perception of how I felt about myself. It really allowed me to shine a light in, and I'm going to share a quote from her with you right now. So no matter how much I get done or left undone, at the end of the day, I am enough. I love that. I am enough. I am. Let's try read the enough bit. The I am is such a powerful expression. I am. Such a powerful word. Such powerful 2 words. Full of so much possibility. I'm smiling with wonder right now thinking about all that is possible there. Because you are possible. You are enough. You are. And there's a lot of people out there that benefit from the fact that you are here, that you show up. No matter how you feel on a daily basis, no matter how maybe insecure, vulnerable, not good enough you feel, you show up. And you have shown up and you have got results. Focus on that and keep pushing forwards, because you do amazing work. You're an amazing, bright, sparkly star on this planet that means a lot to the people in your world. So keep on shining. And on that note, it's time to ride off into today's sunset, sundown, sunrise, wherever you are in the universe. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you're watching or listening this to get notifications of when the next episodes hit. And as always, don't forget to be awesome, because you are awesome.